everybody. Today we're doing something fun, simple, and easy. We're making some jam using Thrive Life fruit. So you can do this in any variety you want. It is 100% up to you. So many people get caught up in following a recipe when it comes to jam or jelly. However, our grandmothers didn't have them. Our great-grandmothers didn't have them. Our great-great-grandmothers didn't have them. They just threw fruit together and made jam. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to take some Just Tart cherry juice. And it's from the local organic grocery store. And I'm using this to show you anything can work. Even store-bought and homemade. So, first thing we're going to do is, this is 4 cups of juice. Shake it up and crack it open. We're going to add our 4 cups of juice. To our bowl. Then, since all of this is freeze-dried, we need to rehydrate it. Oh, look at those beautiful whole strawberries. I'm going to throw about 10 of them in here. About 12. Blackberries. Look at how beautiful those are. Half a cup. I think we're going to do a whole cup. Of blackberries. Now we want to make sure that we save this. This is our moisture protector. It absorbs all the moisture now that our fruit has been opened. That way they don't start going bad. So we put this back in. So 1 cup blackberries. A dozen whole strawberries. And let's do 1 cup blueberries. Now, we're going to let those sit and rehydrate for a little bit before we get started. And rehydrate, we're going to push these underneath of the juice. Now remember, there's only 4 cups of juice in here. And they say you should never use more than 6 cups of fresh fruit and berries. And in most instances, that is right. Especially when you're using just fruit. When I'm using just fruit, I only use 6 cups of fresh fruit. But when I'm using juice and rehydrated fruits, I use more. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. Alright, so at the moment there's 1 quart of the Just Tart cherry juice, which is 4 cups. And then I'm going to add a couple cups of the apple juice after this has rehydrated some. We're going to let this sit for about 20 minutes and we'll be back. The fruit has been sitting for half an hour. So now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Then we're going to let it sit longer. Alright, first thing I'm going to add is 2.5 cups of sugar. Now, a lot of times they call for equal parts sugar, equal parts fruit. My family doesn't like super high sugar. We like low sugar everything. So I'm only adding 2.5 cups. You can add 3 cups, you can add 4 cups, you can add 6 cups. That's up to you. I'm only adding 2.5 cups. 1/4 cup of lemon juice to help with thickening. I make homemade pectin. I do not buy store-bought pectin. I could not help you with how to make this using store-bought pectin, but I will leave a link up here or up here somewhere. And if not, I will definitely leave a link in the description below on making my pectin. I have a couple different videos on making pectin. What we want is all that thick stuff at the bottom. That is our thickening pectin. So shake all this up. I'm going to add 1 8-ounce jar of my pectin. Now, like I said, I make this myself. This recipe is based on homemade pectin. 1 can. Then, since we had 6 cups of juice, I'm going to add 2 cups of my home canned apple juice. Again, I'll try to leave a link somewhere up above or for sure down below so that you can see how I make my homemade apple juice. I'm going to add 2 cups of that so that I've got 6 cups all together. There we go. And then I'm going to again let this sit for about half an hour just to make sure everything is nice and rehydrated and incorporated. Then we'll start the boiling process. We'll be back. It has sat and rehydrated beautifully for an hour. So we're going to turn it on medium. It's really important you don't have it any higher than medium. We do not want to burn our jam and jelly. Then all we're going to do is bring it up to a boil and let it slowly boil down into our jam. I'll be back when this is just starting to get going nicely. Alright, it's been boiling for about 10 minutes, and as you can look how beautiful those strawberries are really starting to puff up. Now, you don't need to worry about big chunks of strawberries in your jam, because as this starts to boil, as you can already see with this one, it's gonna come apart. And maybe you can see this one over here. See how it's breaking up? They will break down, break apart. Now the blueberries won't mush up as much as the strawberries will, so you'll have nice bites of blueberry. It will be wonderful. Alright, like I said, this has only been boiling for about 10 minutes. You stir every 30 seconds to a minute. You do not want scorching or burning on the bottom. I can tell you right now, this is going to be a good 45-minute boil, more than likely. It may even possibly be up to a 1-hour boil. When you're making jams and jellies using natural pectin, it is not like the store-bought pectin. It won't thicken all this up and you get all of this as a jam or jelly. It will boil down more naturally and get rid of all the water that's in the juices. So you are actually left with just the fruit juice, just the berries, and the sugar and the pectin and the lemon juice, and when it gets down to just the berries and the juice, the pectin and the sugar and the lemon juice that are in it will start to have a chemical reaction and will help thicken this up. So, we're going to let it boil, and we'll be back. We have been boiling for 45 minutes, and as you can see, like I said, it would be 45 minutes, possibly longer. It's going to take longer, which is fine, because there was 6 cups of juice in here, and then our pectin. But as you can also see, it has started to have a noticeable thickening. If you were to pull it off of here at this point, you'd have a very thin pancake syrup, or once you let it cool down, a perfect ice cream topping, or fruit glaze like syrup for on top of like angel food cakes. But we're looking for jam, so we're just gonna keep boiling. That's all the difference there is between like fruit glazes for pancakes and cakes, or pancake syrup, or jam and jellies, is just how long you boil the sugar and the fruit juices together. So, we're going to keep letting this go. Now, if this was on a higher heat, it would probably be done by now. But I like to boil at a low, medium heat. There's less chance of scorching, less chance of ruining your jam. It may take longer, but the results, the outcome, and the possibility of not burning stuff is much better. Alright, we're going to keep letting this boil, and I will bring you back when it really starts to thicken up. My guess would be we'll be back at about an hour to an hour and 5 minutes of boiling. We'll be back. Alright, we're at 1 hour, and this is the most important stage. As you can see, it's getting big and foamy, and see how it's starting to grow? It's growing again because I just stirred it. So we're going to let it grow back up to full. This is the important stage where our chemical process is taking place. We're going to let it grow up to its full bubble and then stir it down. And then when I stop stirring it, it'll look like it will have died. And then we let it bubble up again, and we keep doing that for, it'll probably be 5-10 minutes until you see it really, really thicken. Let it boil back up. And we stir it down. And then we let it boil back up, and then we stir it down. Now, if you want, you can start skimming some of this foam off as it's boiling up. You see the foam here? You just grab it like that, pull it off. It'll actually help pull aside and separate the foam for you. Stir it up. It's really important that we keep stirring it at this stage so we do not get burning. You do not want to walk away from it when it is at this stage of the boiling up and down, because you will have scorching and burning. Pull the foam off. Stir it down. Going to eventually get to the point where it's going to have this boiling that will not go away completely even when you stir it. All different jams and jellies tend to have their own way of thickening up and their own signs and their own different stages of the way that they cook. It all depends upon the fruit and the berry. That's why so many people use commercial pectins. I prefer not to use commercial pectins. I do not like having any kind of preservatives in my family. So I like to use everything I possibly can myself. I have a child that falls on the autism spectrum, and I have noticed tremendously that the less preservatives he has and the less fake food he has, the more high functioning he seems to be. For those mothers out there who have children on the scale, you understand what I mean by that. He just seems to be more connective, less withdrawn. He likes to be more part of the family, the less preservatives he has in his system. Here we are, we're in that it will no longer be quite foamy like it was, and it won't foam up like it was, because it's starting to reach the next chemical stage, where I said it doesn't seem to matter how much you stir it, the boiling doesn't seem to go away. And that's the stage that we're at. We're going to want to let it boil for a couple more minutes till it really shows signs of thickening. And you will be able to see it. The more you make jams and jellies, the more you get used to what it looks like when it's thick. They say to use sheeting, and I do use sheeting. See, this is definitely not ready yet. However, you will be able to tell just by looking at it and stirring it and feeling it that it's ready. As you can see, the boil itself is even starting to get thicker. You can actually see it thickening up. If you wanted to stop it right now, you'd have a really thick, super thick pancake syrup. Like extremely thick. Oh, look at that. One strawberry survived. It just broke apart. Perfect. Like I was saying, if you stop it now, you'll have a really thick, almost jam consistency pancake syrup. We're going to let this go for about another maybe minute. is ready to go. You see how it, when you stir it, it goes right. It almost leaves a trace in it. There's a, oh, it's perfect. Now, the biggest sign is, watch this. See how, oh, you can't see it. See how thick that is coming off the spoon? We're going to turn it off. Let it sit and cool for about 5 minutes. And then we'll put it in our jars. And we're going to water bath can it. We'll be back. Alright. So this has sat for 5 minutes. While this was boiling, I prepared my jars. They have been washed, cleaned, and baked in a 250 degree oven for 20 minutes. That way they are sterile. Now I'm going to put my jam into my jars. And one way to tell if you have gotten your jam to where it needs to be is when you tip it. See that nice skin you see going on? That means you have cooked it right. Alright. Oh, look how thick and beautiful that is. Into our jar. I always like to do it right underneath of that bottom rim. That would not have fit in an 8-ounce jar. Alright. I'm going to get the lids and rings ready to go. In here I have very warm water and apple cider vinegar to help sterilize things. And then I have a clean cloth specifically for this. And then I'm going to wipe, clean my rims. springs. Fingertip tight. And then we're going to get our water bath canner ready. In this particular video, I will not be showing you how to water bath can. I'm going to be making a separate video. I'll leave a link up here in the corner somewhere. And for sure a link in the description for how to water bath can. I'm trying to cut out editing time for my editor by making an individual how to water bath can items. So look for that video, and we will be back when all this is done and out of the water bath canner. Hello everyone. So, my husband was editing videos and informed me that he doesn't have the end to the Cherry Thrive Life. This is the jams and jellies made out of the cherry juice and Thrive Life berries, and the pectin made from Thrive Life apples. There are already a couple missing because my kids really have enjoyed this one and the 100% Thrive Life ingredients. As you can see, when I turn it upside down, it's thick, it's set, and it's very tasty. Well, you can't see that it's very tasty, but I'm missing a couple of jars. My kids ate and devoured these. These are very good. Some simple juice, some berries, some Thrive Life pectin made out of Thrive Life apples, and we have an awesome jam. Thanks for coming along to my kitchen. I hope this video gave you an idea of all the different ways you can use Thrive Life. We'll see you in the next one. And remember everyone, stay positive. Bye.